All right, how would you define your band's sound?
I mean, I think we're just a rock and roll band. I think it's really simple. It's based on, all of our favorite bands: two guitars, drums, bass, and the lead singer. It's pretty simple.
That's the way to go. The music industry has changed a lot since you guys started. How has the band adapted to changing music climate?
I mean, if you think back to when we started, like 1995, the biggest difference that I've seen from the artist standpoint, well, there's two really big differences. One is we used to rely on a major label to give you an opportunity to be successful. Prior to internet and viral marketing and all those things, you really were kind of at the mercy of a major label to put your record out, to have people find out about you. That's not the case anymore. So that's been a huge change. And I mean, declining CD sales has really changed the way we look at our business. We are not, it used to be all about the record as far as how it performed and using that as a gauge of your success, and that's really not how we gauge our success anymore. There's so many other facets to what we do. And the records, making the records is still really important, but how they perform on the charts isn't quite the indicator of your success it used to be.
Not necessarily as big of a deal. Great. What's your songwriting process?
The songwriting process usually is an idea starting with Josh and myself, whether it's a lyric and Josh strumming a couple chords to it, and then I take it and try to develop it some more, or I'll come up with a little body of music and I'll send it to Josh, and he can kind of start to wrap his head around it, and then if it starts, something germinates from there, then we take it to the rest of the band. Right? And the other guys, they're involved in the songwriting as well. Basically, every song that we do ends up the five of us in a room, in a circle, playing the songs, throwing around ideas. So that's kind of where everything ends up, no matter where the ideas comes from.
Great. All right. You guys reformed in 2002, is that right?
I think it was like 2005. Actually.
Really? Okay. Right. Does the band feel stronger to you now with new members?
Absolutely. I mean, the old band, while it was successful, it always felt like we were forcing a square peg into a round hole. It never really felt right, even though things did go well for a while. This lineup with these guys, these are like 5 best friends in the same band, and we hang out a lot when we're not on the road together, when we're not playing. We spend our days off together. So it really gels in a way that the old band never did.
Right. Great. Okay. Can you tell me anything about the new single, All Night Long?
All Night Long is the title track from our new record that comes out in August. It feels to me like it was a song. I wrote it really simply in my kitchen. I wrote those riffs on an acoustic guitar, but I heard it, as an electric song, obviously.
Yeah.
Reminds me of one of those songs that could have been on our first record, and it really kind of had that spirit about it, and I was very excited about that song. It came together really quickly in the room. Everyone just kind of fell into place, and it just was what it was.
Awesome. All right. So this isn't completely a fact, but in my opinion, especially around here with the radio stations in Michigan, your biggest crossover hit was Crazy Bitch. I mean, it was on every radio station, regardless of what they normally played. So what was it like when you guys found out that it had really crossed over and become such a huge hit?
It was really, you got to remember, at that time, we couldn't even get a record deal, so we had to put the record out independently.
Right.
And Crazy Bitch was a song that Josh and I had written years before that never really made it onto a record. And it almost didn't even make it onto the record.
Wow.
It was an afterthought.
Wow.
So we were pretty surprised. And then it kept selling and stayed on the charts, and more stations played it. And, and it was a ringtone for so many people, and it was definitely a surprise.
Yeah.
Definitely a surprise.
That's a common rock and roll story right there. All right. What's your favorite song to play live?
Lit Up never gets old. Yeah. I've been playing that for a long time, but it gets a great reaction. The the songs I love the most are the ones that have where the crowd really participates the most. Obviously, "Crazy Bitch" is one of those songs. We have a song off of our Time Bomb record called "You." That's one of my favorite songs that we've ever done. I love to play that live as well.
Awesome. All right, I got to look at your touring rig over there. Is that any different from what you usually use in the studio?
My studio rig is completely different. Right now I have a Victoria Twin out there, and I have a Star amp, which was made by Mark Sampson, who invented Matchless.
Right.
And that's he made me basically an AC50 clone.
Okay. Great.
In the studio, I'm a pretty avid guitar and amp collector.
I can tell just from the stuff you got.
I have a lot of vintage stuff, so the records are made with old guitars and old amps.
That's great.
So it's not really the same as what I'm playing live at all.
I wouldn't expect you to take that stuff out there. Dangerous. All right. What was your earliest musical influence?
I mean, the earliest stuff that I ever heard was stuff that obviously my parents were playing. Mm-hmm. And my father listened to James Brown and the Four Tops and Sly and the Family Stone, and then a lot of country music.
Yeah.
So, a lot of Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash. So that was kind of like the first stuff that I gravitated to. And then the first stuff that I bought myself was like, I think of my earliest records, Kiss Destroyer and AC/DC Back in Black, Hotel California by the Eagles. Those are the records that I had. Frampton Comes Alive. Well, those are the records that I had that I actually went out and bought and listened to over and over again.
What was your first guitar?
My first guitar was a bastardized Fender Telecaster Custom that somebody had taken and painted with Van Halen stripes on it. and I saw the guitar, and it was a Tele, and I had to have it, so I got the guitar, immediately stripped the paint off of it, and painted it black, and that became my first electric guitar.
Right, so you're a big Telecaster fan? Then?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big Tele fan.
Can you tell me what it is about Teles that...
I don't know. Well, obviously it's the sound. Something about like the Stratocaster body's contoured, but the Tele body is like a big slab of wood, and something about that just feels so substantial when you're playing it. It feels right. And think about it. Leo Fender's design from like 1950 still holds up, and it's
nothing's beat it so far.
Nothing's beat it. So between Teles and Les Paul, those are my guitars of choice.
Yeah. Good. All right. Yeah. Stevie decided to play the lead parts in songs?
I don't think we ever sit down. Every once in a while, I'll be like, dude, take that solo. But it just kind of seems to, whoever kind of falls into it, it always seems kind of natural. We've never, I don't know. It just always seems to work itself out.
Yeah. Do you guys have similar styles or complementary?
Actually, I think they're complementary and they are different. Stevie's a phenomenal guitar player. He plays... he's way more technical than I am.
Okay.
I tend to play a little bit slower and a little more, I don't even know what the term is, but Stevie's more of a shredder, and I'm more of like a unshredder.
Yeah, or the classic. All right, I just got one more. What should fans expect from Buckcherry in the future?
Oh, wow. A lot of touring, We're a live band. We pride ourselves on our live show and going out and playing. So there's a lot more shows, Obviously the new record. I'm really proud of the new record. We did it at my studio, and we took our time doing it. So instead of making a record in like 2 weeks, we actually made it in 3 months. And it was from the outset, it was a very analog record. Even though the final product was recorded into the computer in Pro Tools, there wasn't editing and computer processing. It's all very, very analog. Old guitars guitars, old amps, old outboard gear, old microphones, old mic pre's and compressors. I really wanted to get so much of that analog warmth that I feel like is missing from modern records. All my favorite records have it, so it's kind of like bridging the gap between the old and the new.
Great. And I just realized I forgot one there.
It's all right.
Who's your favorite band to tour, play with?
Well, we just did 3 months with Kiss at the end of last year. That did not suck.
I'm sure
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new bands out there that have been a lot of fun to play with. The Shine On guys have been fun. Papa Roach guys are always great to tour with.
Yeah, we're going to be doing an interview with them soon.
Yeah. So many bands are fun. We got some shows coming up with Alice Cooper, which are going to be fun, and a couple shows with Aerosmith. So it's fun to be able to play with our peers and our heroes and kind of bounce back and forth. It's a good job.
That's for sure. All right, man. Well, is there anything else?
That's it.